Riders, fans, we've got a big bomb that just dropped on Bubba's World. You should listen to the whole podcast, but they talk about it kind of briefly at the beginning, that Ken Roczen is a free agent. He is no longer with Honda because they're pissed about him racing World Supercross. And I'm kind of like, well, duh. These guys are assets. You know, Honda manufacturers, they put a lot of money into these guys. They want them to make money here in America, at least where they invested the money. Okay, the same reason why Jason Anderson's not racing the World Supercross and so many others. You know, Baggett, they don't release this information because of this NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So it's cool to see that some of the backdoor talks are kind of coming to fruition and people are able to say their side of everything. I dropped a video 2 weeks ago talking about a little bit like this, like, hey, Kenny is going to Suzuki, which actually they're trying to switch it over to KTM, you know, and it could be the HEP stuff, but there is talks going on. These guys are talking with other manufacturers, and it's something that happens all the time, but we don't get to hear about it because of all of the just contracts that are out there. So I'm super pumped that Kenny went on to Bubba's World and is being open about this stuff, because it's important. We need to know about these things. And, you know, my video on Dungey that was racing Supercross, you know, because KTM had a bike for him. Now he doesn't want to race. So that gives potentially where Kenny and Dungey intertwined. If you had to pick between the two, would you pick Kenny? Would you pick Dungey? They were pretty much back to back in motocross together. I'd almost pick Dungey. You know, just because of he's the diesel. He's going to have, be consistent. And Roczen, is it a health issue? But he just can't last forever. And does it make more sense speculating here that maybe this Honda deal was kind of unfolding throughout the Nationals? Like, of course it was. Right? Of course it was, because the talk of the World Supercross has been going around all summer long. We didn't even hear where the final, or at least the first race was until like 3 weeks ago. Well, maybe it was end of July, so a little bit longer than that, but it's all coming to fruition now, all this stuff. So was Kenny kind of phoning it in a little bit to kind of throw the finger to Honda? I mean, who knows? I doubt he would do anything like that, but speculating, it's something to kind of bring up with that stuff. And I think Roczen is going to be much happier racing the World Supercross because he's close to home. He's close to Germany. You know, you could race just a few months out of the year, and then if you make enough money, boom, you can live happily. Would he move back to Germany if he was just full-blown World Supercross? Maybe. Or does he like it here in the States? I haven't had a conversation with him. Maybe he could tell us himself, or, you know, Stewart could enlighten us a little bit more about it. But, why would Honda be kind of done with Roczen? A, you don't want him getting hurt racing something else. B, you don't want to pay to ship the bike across the world and, you know, then pay the rider. I'm sure Roczen would pay for his mechanic, but he's not going to flip the $250,000 to get the bike everywhere, right? You know, it's very expensive to ship these motorcycles all over the place. Hence why World Supercross is saying, hey, we have to have these riders, and you will get fined if the teams don't show up with the riders and the bikes. You know, they all have to work together as a business. That's why the hedge fund is actually giving more money back to the teams to try to help them financially get this stuff moving. And you have to talk about that Sexton is kind of the top dog at Honda right now. It's no longer Roczen because you're only as good as your last race. And then you got Jet Lawrence moving up to Honda. So where does that leave Kenny? Even though Kenny is an amazing, amazing top tier 1% of the 1% athletes out there in motocross and supercross, if you have those two guys that are young, and then you have this guy that's sort of on his way out, last little leg, he's got more to prove now because of the young guys coming up. It makes sense to push him to a second-tier team, right? I'd rather like to see him on, you know, Roger DeCoster's KTM, but it might end up being that Hemp. At least that was the information that was being spoken to me when I was asking questions. But till next time, this is Johnny F. and Hopper. I forgot to say keep it WFO.